I hear somebody back in there on my local antenna, but you're right at my noise level. But try it again. I'm listening. I'm sorry. So you're just too low. You are actually beneath my noise level. So that is one of those cases where, I try to get the equalization situation going, that it's so important that, your articulation is just, has to be right out there, because when you get in marginal situations, if your mumbles on EQ, you're not going to be understood. They can hear you talking, but they can't make out the words. So the more articulated your audio is, the better it fares in adverse conditions. And this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are monitoring. We are located near Louisville, Kentucky. We're just across the river from Louisville in Indiana, and so we're monitoring at that point. We're also monitoring on the Rochester, New York SDR, and the Wake Forest, North Carolina SDR, and the Milford, Pennsylvania SDR. So we're monitoring from quite a few places. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, this is AJ4UX.
The call sign again, please. AJ4 something?
Yes, Alpha Juliet 4 United X-ray.
Roger, Roger. And what's the name, please?
Richard.
Okay, I got Richard. Let me write that down before I forget it. And hopefully, with any luck, I'll put your name near your call sign. Sometimes I don't do that, but and sometimes I put a line between the name and the call sign, and I totally get lost there because the line separates the two forever. Anyway, Richard, how's it going this afternoon?
Doing pretty good. The band's as usual kind of weird, but you're up and down. But receiving you really well into Salisbury, North Carolina. What's the name there?
Name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, and the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. And we're located next door to Louisville, Kentucky. And this is the KC9VKV Qso-Vlog network. From now until 5, we are recording, and then we post the whole thing up on YouTube, the whole hour and a half up on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a Qso entitled My Group Aircheck 4519. Today's date, 4519. Roger, Roger.
Today's date, 4519. Roger, Roger. Okay, good. I'll have to look that up.
Okay, and just listening there, what radio are you running?
Well, I've got an Icom 706.
Roger, Roger. I do have you just a few dB above my noise level, though, or actually the Rochester, New York noise level. What's your location?
Noise level. What's your location? We're in Salisbury, North Carolina. You're about 10 over 9, and QSB takes you a little bit lower than that, but you're coming in really well.
Okay, now I have an SDR in Wake Forest. I also have one in gosh, where is that? Let me bust this one down, see if I can get closer to you. Last time I checked this SDR Raleigh. I've got one in Raleigh, but it keeps coming up that I can't reach it yet. It's offline, so Nick's on Raleigh. Let me try, what was the other one there? Wake Forest. We'll see how that one's doing. It had stalled just a minute ago, so and now it's not coming up. Anyway, through the there it is. Let's see. Then the volume up, and come back and let me hear you again and see if I can copy you better on the Wake Forest SDR.
On the Wake Forest. Yeah, well, Wake Forest is just about 15 miles north of Raleigh, so I don't know that you're going to see much difference there, Jim.
Roger. I went back to Rochester. For some reason, the Wake Forest SDR is coming up, but it's not giving me any audio. And the only thing I can think of is that perhaps somewhere it's on mute or something. I'm not real sure why, but I don't have time to really mess with it right now, so I'm just going to mark it as being offline. Anyway, so you're running that Icom. What was the model number?
Running that Icom. What was the model number? It's the 706 Mark II G.
Not familiar with that one. Are you running any compression at all?
Running any compression at all? Negative, no compression.
Roger. I usually recommend about a 3, just a token amount of compression. You can't really hear it going on, but it does start the fattening process. I don't know if you might be interested in that or not, but there's a whole sequence that we do to try to bring the radio up to about a 3 dB dynamic range, which increases your average peak modulation around 80–85%. Whereas if you're running unprocessed audio, your average peak modulation is about 30%. So if you figure, if your average peak modulation is 30%, then when you get fat, when you bring your audio average peak modulation up, and you're running between 80 and 85%, your radio sounds about 2–3 times louder, and hopefully with taste. It doesn't sound, like it's pleasurable. It's a pleasurable modulation, Roger.
It's a pleasurable modulation, Roger. Could you tell any difference?
Gosh, I had to switch back to my local channel. Come back again. Let me listen. Gosh, we're still quite low on you. If you can copy me, the thing to do, excuse me, would be to go to your ALC, and when you're in the ALC mode, then bring your mic gain up to where you're 2/3, between 1/2 and 2/3 scale on your ALC. Go to ALC and bring your mic gain up to where you're 1/2 to 2/3 on your ALC rating. Roger.
Okay, let me see if I can get into the ALC on this thing.
Roger. Now, it's not, like that 7300, man, you just tap that meter and it moves around. I don't know if that one is the same way. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog program. And we are right now working on a Icom radio, not the 7300 or the 7610, which we usually work on, but all radios are pretty much the same from the standpoint of using your ALC as your guide. That ALC will tell you what your radio is doing much better than your buddy down the street. I mean, as far as modulation is concerned, anyway.
Well, I'll have to get into the book here and check on my ALC. I haven't played with that since I first set it up about 8 weeks ago.
All right, I was just checking. Your audio sounded just a little ragged then, and I didn't notice that earlier on, so I'm not sure what's going on. Would that be a case where you could touch the S meter and it would change to different operations? Gosh, I didn't copy there. Try one more time.
I say no. This is a older radio than the 7300. I bought this in 2010, and it was not brand new that year. So you don't touch the estimator. You got all these buttons under the meter, and you have to go through those things and go through the.
Roger, I caught you there a couple of times. You were over my noise level. It did sound distorted, and it did sound like maybe you were pushing it too hard. So that's why I'm saying that you want to your ALC will tell you what's going on there. So you maybe find your book or whatever, and find out how to get to your ALC, and take a look at your ALC reading. It should be between 1/2 and 2/3. If it's hotter than that, use your mic gain to bring that level down, but you want to be ideally between 1/2 scale and 2/3 scale on the ALC. So whether you have to turn the mic up or down to get that, that's the reading that you want, Roger.
Okay, yeah, well, I've got my mic gain down about as low as it's going to go without being off.
Roger that. Well, what mic are you running, sir?
I'm using a Ohio headset mic.
Roger that. Well, what I would do maybe is move the boom away from your mouth a little bit, maybe an inch further out from the proximity to your mouth, Roger. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have real good conditions, so I would like to hear you a little bit cleaner and a little bit more persistent than so far. But a lot of times, we can make things happen even if we don't have a real good copy. Roger.
Yes, I do understand, Jim.
Roger. Like I say, that. What do you think your mic gain is?
Well, the mic gain goes from 1 to 3.
What is the level now? What is your mic gain level?
The mic gain is at 0 now.
Okay. In terms of a clock, would it be at the 9 o'clock position or lower? Gosh, I didn't copy that at all. Is your mic gain below 9 o'clock or above? Gosh, I think we have faded out. Well, anyway, hopefully, conditions will get better, and if you get a chance to check back in, because I feel like we're halfway through the operation, and the surgeon had to leave because Mother Nature said, "Get out of the operating room." Anyway, 3's that way, and maybe conditions will get better, and you can give me another shout, Roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, the afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, give me a shout. We are recording now till 5, and then post the whole thing up on YouTube so you can hear your audio. Probably about as pristine a recording as you're going to ever get. Then we'll post it on YouTube. You go there and then do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that takes you to our Qso-Vlog page. Actually, pages. We have now somewhat in excess of 500 Qso-Vlogs, but on page 1, hopefully, if YouTube is together, you'll find Qso entitled My Group Aircheck 4519. My Group Aircheck 4519. There's KC9VKV.